Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be watching or listening to us from. This is the Niger FC podcast. As always, I'm your host, AyoT, and I have with me my reliable co host.
Smith Layi, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you very much for joining us. I can see many people are saying, welcome back, welcome back.
hmm
We've kept you in the dark. Apologies for the break, but yes, we are back. Welcome back. Um, yes, please go on YouTube if you want to support the stream. We're streaming on all platforms today just because we've been away for a little while, so we just said it makes sense to just say, "Hey guys, see us. So we're still here." You know, but please support the channel by streaming on YouTube. If you're on YouTube and you are not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't liked the video already, please make sure you like the video as well. Okay, so Smilai, before we get into the content, let me just ask you: Have you been now? Have things been in these last few weeks that we've not been live?
For me, it's strange, and I have to be honest with you guys. I've missed you guys too. You know, Tuesday night is always about you guys. But unfortunately, due to few things, we can't come on. But now we are back again. So it's been. I've missed the show actually, and it's nice that we actually worked back. A lot of things happened in between. Goals galore for Nigerian players in Europe. Super Eagles play two games. After, and my prophecy is coming to pass too. About how and where I think Super Eagles actually what will be at this time around. So happy to be back. We're back again.
Yeah, and I've definitely missed you guys as well. I've definitely seen all the messages. I've got so many messages from different people. I appreciate everybody that has been checking in. Always nice to be here discussing Nigerian football with you guys. And yes, there is so much has happened in the interim. But for the purpose of today, Super Eagles of Nigeria. So in case you missed it, in case you didn't know about this, you missed the games, whatever the case may be, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have completed their AFCON 2025 qualifying campaign with two games just a couple of days or over the past few days. The first game was a 1-1 draw with Benin Republic in Abidjan, Ivory Coast. And then the second game was a 1-2 defeat against Rwanda. That second game, of course, took place only yesterday. Um, Ultimately, we've qualified top of the group. If you look at the table, it makes it look fairly, say fairly comfortable. Three wins, two draws, one defeat, top of the group, 3 points ahead of Benin in second place. But Smilai, from the perspective of a Nigerian fan, of somebody who was living this as a fan, how comfortable do you think it was, or how easy was it for us to qualify for the AFCON?
I think in the first two games we were fairly casual, comfortable, but the one that did the job for us, honesty, was the one we did not play against Libya. Guys, I think out of those that won their group in this qualifier, we had the least points.
Hmm.
Out of those that won their group, a lot of people forgot that we only had two. We won two games, like only two games. Out of five, we drew three. We drew three games, no, two games, and actually what lost one. So to tell you that it wasn't that easy for us to qualify for this AFCON. I will not say it was that easy because I remember we labored to a 1-0 victory over Libya in Uyo. So we have been winning. The only comfortable victory for us was actually what against Benin Republic in Uyo. We've labored to actually qualify, and we have the least point out of those that actually won this group. And if Nigeria too will go to the World Cup too, we might probably be winning that group with the least points too. Out of the teams in the World Cup qualifying group. So for me, I think I didn't think it was that too tough for Nigeria.
Mm. And a lot of people have been reacting to the qualification. Some people are like, hey, this is not good enough. We should not be, only winning 3 out of 6 matches in a group like this. Whereas there are also the people that say, we qualified, they got
I
the
think
job done.
we won two.
Sorry?
We won two games. The other one was boardroom point.
Well, boardroom points, but it counts on the
That's
table
a
as a
win. Yeah,
W.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But and some people are saying, oh, we qualified. Why are you complaining? All that
Mhm.
matters is that they got the job done. Where do you stand with this, Milai?
For me, I think when we should not be debating about qualifying. I think that we qualified and he got the job done. We can't be like Ghana as did not qualify. What will we even say? Now we're not going to this AFCON.
Mm,
So he got the job done. But for me, I know I told you earlier, IoT, that this qualifier I see it like a dress rehearsal for a World Cup qualifier. And for
okay.
me, I think that there are far more questions to be answered, than even before we
Mm,
started. So I don't see it like that. I just see like a way that we had the opportunity to prove to our opponents in that group, that we are back. But for me, I think they even know our weakness more. That is it. So we qualify, but for me, it's seven different purpose for me.
mm, mm. Okay. Well said. I think I'm going to have to agree with you. Sometimes I get annoyed that we are agreeing too much, but
Mhm,
I'm going to have to agree with you that we qualified, but it's it brings up more questions that we're going to have to answer in the future. We've
mhm,
always known this, that these are guys that we are going to have to face again in world qualifying. We know how World Cup qualifying is already off to a rocky start for us, and
mhm,
all the games are extremely important. So while we qualified, just the fact that we're not able to pick up all the desired results, just kind of makes us wonder that what will happen when we have to face these guys again in March. And talking about these guys, let's talk specifically about that game, Smith. Like Nigeria versus Rwanda in the Godzilla Aquabio Stadium in Uyo. This is a game that obviously before kickoff, we knew that we had qualified. It was a dead rubber game, like they call it. Points at stake, but the Super Eagles had nothing to lose. Going into this game, Coach Osneguavon made wholesale changes, to his squad. Certain players were missing. Bali missed out due to a personal family issue. God rest his father's soul. People like Olaino missed out, but the players that came into the squad are players that we ordinarily on certain days might have argued for them to be in the starting 11. People have argued for them and said, oh no, they should, why are they not starting over this guy, that guy, things like that. And then obviously this was one of those games that we are struggling to break a team down. We have majority of possession, like we always seem to do against these teams, more shots, everything, but we just can't get the ball on target and we can't get it into the back of the net. Samuel Chukwueze comes, a bit of individual magic, moment of brilliance, and he
mhm,
scores the goal for us. It looks as if, okay, even though it wasn't the best performance, maybe the Super Eagles are about to scrape another 1-0
mhm,
results, and then unfortunately, in the twinkle of an eye, um, from a set piece, Rwanda get an equalizer, and then they get the go-ahead goal. A couple minutes later, we fall to a 1-2 defeat. Everybody's disappointed again. It's been like, what did you think about the performance in this game against Rwanda?
So for me, there are some things that I actually would observe in that game. One of the problems that Jose Pacero solved for Nigeria was trying to help Nigeria to be more dangerous in set pieces and also know how to defend set pieces. I think the problem is now back on now with Nigeria. The out of the three goals we considered, two was actually what out of the four goals we considered in these no the three goals we considered in this window, two was actually what from set pieces. So we that problem is actually what coming back now. And you've mentioned that these guys are actually what players that we clamor for that they should be in the team. But for me, no matter the player you put in, if you don't have the right setup, these players will fail. I saw we didn't have time to discuss about the game with G11 against Benin Republic in Abidjan. I saw the way Lukman's starting position, in that game, and I was like, this is not where how Lukman starts, when he played Gasparini in Atlanta. So the way you set up the team too also affects these players. So when I saw that, there's more to like lackadaisical display from those guys, and like you said too, we might argue the quality different between Online now and Osai somewhere. It's just if Osai is starting, we should not be having issues that he's playing for us. If Ekong is there, Gabriel Shaw is there, Mandika Koye plays for Udinese in Italy. So we should not have too much problem in terms of dropping quality. But this one, I can tell you that these guys that played did not really cover themselves in glory, in my own opinion. And two, tactically too, I think the coach too also have more questions than to actually what to answer.
Mm, mm. All right. Lots of different, I think, tidbits here
Mm-hmm.
and there. Lots of different talking points here and there. Um, I think for me, overall, it was an underwhelming performance.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say that. Um, Despite the number of changes that were made,
Mm-hmm.
it is still an 11 that you want to believe has more than enough quality to go out there and defeat a team like Rwanda. I understand that there are no minnows in football anymore. I understand that everybody is now working hard. I understand that you cannot just write anybody off. But I
Mm-hmm.
always say this, man. If we are indeed as good as we think we are, if we are indeed as good as we say we are supposed to be, then games like this should not be games that worry us too much. Games like this are games that we should be able to go there and we should be able to stamp our authority and then show why we are Nigeria and show how much better than the opposition we are. When I look at, and especially when I look at results across Africa, and I look at how other teams are performing whenever they come up against these quote unquote weaker teams, these quote unquote smaller nations. They seem to be doing fairly comfortably, and they find a way to win these games without too much stress. So when it comes to us, why is it us that we now always like to say, oh, the other team did this, oh, we tried this, oh, this player was injured? Is there any national team or any team in the world that goes into games without injuries, without missing players, things like that? So I think it was a very underwhelming performance. And obviously you'd want to say that the team is going to look, maybe very different from the team that's going to face them when we go there in March. But injuries are part of football, like I was just saying. Who knows when we go to face them in March? What if we have injuries? What if Osimhen is injured? What if Ajayi is injured? What if Aino is injured? We're going to need these replacements. This is also one of the reasons why we always talk about how a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Whenever they call up certain players that we feel are not deserving of getting called up, because you never know when you're going to need these people, and if you cannot rely on them when you need them, we remember what happened with Abdullahi Shehu. I'm not trying to disrespect him, but if you cannot rely on a player when you need them, when you're calling them off the bench, then it is not a good sign for your team at all. At all. Um, let's talk about certain players, like Kelechi Iheanacho. Despite not doing very well in the game against Benin Republic, Coach Eguavon opted to start him again in this game versus Rwanda. Um, After 45 minutes, of course, he was hooked off. But Smilai, what did you think of his contribution on the day?
For me, in fact, even better against the Republic than
Rwanda.
against Rwanda in Uyo. I don't, I don't know the tactics. I don't know what the government exactly actually wanted him to do against Rwanda, but I can tell you that he was losing the ball, he was giving wrong passes, it was a liability defensively. He was doing everything. Was doing the wrong things against in the game against Rwanda. For me, I don't know. Maybe it justify. You can justify his call up to the national team because I know that it's a guy that yeah, he really helped Eguavon in the past. I remember that he was the main man for Eguavon when we played against when we played at the AFCON in 2021. That was 3 years ago. Is it 2022? Yeah, going to 2 years ago now. Eguavon thinks that he can get the best out of him again, the way he played in that AFCON. But for me, I think he's now off form. I think he's not in his best again. So he didn't do well in the game against Rwanda. And I think that I don't think they just would have a place in this current Super Eagles. His performance was awful. Both games, it was awful. And it was so evident. That's why the question came up during the press conference that why does this guy keep on getting called up? Why is he playing when you know clearly that he's not in the best shape? For me, he didn't cover himself with glory. I think that he needs to go and get his club form back on for him to come out into the national team. For now, I don't think he deserves to be there, and he justifies that he's not playing well. You are muted.
I said I think it is something that is disappointing in terms of the performances that we're getting from Kelechi Iheanacho. Like you said, he's somebody that helped, has led the team in the past. Has been there for a while. Even in that press conference, Eguavon said it himself that Kelechi is somebody that has been in the team. He knows, he relies on, he trusts, and that's part of the reason why he keeps on calling him back. But at some point, we are going to need to see something different from Kelechi Iheanacho. I don't know if you saw his interview with Victor Modo. We posted a snippet of it on our page. But even in that interview with Victor Modo, Iheanacho was talking about how he feels like his best position for the national team is playing as a number 10.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be that creative influence for the national team. He wants to be that person playing the final ball. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think the way we've been clamoring for this creative player? Do you think Ehenacho can be the solution, or is there simply just no room for him again in the squad?
No, for me, I don't think there's any room for him in the squad again. He mentioned about being creative. I remember there was a game that there was one action against Benin Republic when it was 3-2. It was holding the ball 3-2 against Benin Republic. Victor Osimhen on one side, Adama Lukman on the other side. Yeah, so delayed. He was trying to take the ball to his left foot. Delayed until Lukman was offside. Lukman was like getting ready to take the ball. But for me, I think if you want to be a creative midfielder like that, you must think fast. You must be able to get those balls quickly in. For me, I think maybe he was thinking about his years at under 17 with the way he was playing behind the striker. For me, that is not. He has never played number 10 for Nigeria before. He always play as a striker. So I don't know why he now wants to have this new role again under Iguavon. And secondly, too, for you to be a number 10 now in this modern day now, you must have this defensive awareness. You must not be a liability defensively. You must be able to hold the ball in tight positions and be able to feel comfortable with the ball and also distribute the ball very well. I don't think Yanasho can actually do that. I think he's a liability defensively. I don't think he can be our number 10. If he's going to be our number 10 in the midfield, we are playing -1 in that midfield. Then we're going to be in trouble.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. Okay. So yeah, definitely not a fan of
Yeah, no.
what do you say?
No, I'm not. Don't say I'm not a fan of him. I'm just
No, no,
saying that
no. I didn't say you're not a fan of him. I was saying you're not a fan of him playing in that position for Nigeria.
yes, I'm not a fan of him playing that position for Nigeria. It's going to cause more trouble than good for Nigeria.
Mm. Okay. Let's talk about another player that was hooked off at the half in that game. Talking about Alassane Yusuf, the player for New England Revolution in the MLS.
No matter,
45 minutes, one chance created, 96% passing, eight those won, two tackles, two clearances, subbed off at halftime. A lot of people have criticized performance. A lot of people in the past, yourself included, have even said that he should not be getting called up. So in this game against Rwanda, what did you see from him? Did his performance justify the feelings you had already? What are your thoughts?
I think it's dropping. His performance is dropping. Maybe because of the level of opposition. If you have not proved yourself, you have not proven yourself already in mainstream Europe, and you are going to MLS. So I think that you are trying to. I don't think it's really helping him. I think he needs to play against a more tougher opposition. I saw him playing the MLS too, and I realized the players in the MLS to the way they were playing. For me, I just think that performance is dropping. I think that that move is not really helping him. So for me, I told you again that if he can, before he move to the MLS at this stage of his career, he should not be called up again. And I think I'm being justified now. A lot of people will agree with me that Alassane Yusuf is not the same Alassane Yusuf we saw against Equatorial Guinea. Unfortunately, Equatorial Guinea, unfortunately, actually what he got injured in that game. Was in that game he got injured in that game. So for me, I think it wasn't. It didn't do well that much in that game. So it wasn't really, sitting holding the ball properly. I don't think maybe it would be better in a different role. But for me, I don't think he did well in that game.
Mm, mm. Alassane Yusuf, what can I say? I don't think it was bad. It's not like he was so terrible that the coach subbed
Hmm.
him off. The reason why the coach subbed him off is because he was making, um, should I say, he was making tactical changes, making subs, and he wanted to change the personnel. It's not necessarily just a reflection of his performance. But at the same time, I also don't think he covered himself in glory. Um, I am still a bit hesitant to just write him off. Unfortunately, the MLS season is now over, so it's be until next year before we see him in action again. But I think that if he wants to be a mainstay in the Super Eagles, he would need to make sure that every time that he comes to the national team and he plays, he's able to put in a good performance. I just think that for now, there is no obvious replacement, there is no obvious new player, there is no obvious, player to come and change the game. Maybe you can say, okay, instead of calling up more DMs, maybe they should call up an Aribo instead. Look
I mean,
towards
that's
I don't know about that yet. But look towards maybe a more attack-minded option in midfield. But I think he needs to do more to take his chances. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was good either. Um, I just think that he needs to be able to stamp his feet more if he wants to hold on to his Super Eagles spot, especially with different players that are playing across Europe and doing well across Europe. But I know that he's somebody that a lot of people have opinions on and mixed opinions as well across the board. Let's go further back on the pitch and go into the defense a little bit. Gabriel Oshaw, Gabriel Oshaw made his debut in the game against Benin Republic, was subbed off at the half, and then made his full 90 minutes, first full 90 minutes in the game against Rwanda. So that game against Benin Republic, I know after the game, a lot of people were criticizing him. I remember I watched that game. I went back and I watched the game again, and I was thinking, I don't think this guy was as bad as people are making it sound. He said, just the misplaced pass, blah, blah, blah. Okay, he played two bad passes. Is he the first player to misplace passes, two passes in a game? I honestly do not think it was as bad as people were making it sound. And then the game against Rwanda, didn't have too much to do in the game. But Smith
mhm.
Layi, but I mean, sorry, but overall in the game against Rwanda, his passing was clean, completed 61 out of 63 passes. He won 100% of his duels, made one tackle, one clearance, one interception. Obviously, wasn't too alert for the goals that we considered. But overall, Smith, how would you rate the performance of Gabriel Osho, do you think he's somebody that could be, a mainstay in the Super Eagles looking forward to the future?
For me, I think he can because especially in the game against Rwanda, I think he actually did well. But it's just that Nigerians, against the Republic, Nigeria always look for a scapegoat because it said, oh, it was his misplaced pass. I mean, it was a bad clearance that led to the corner kick, and the Republic actually was scored and from. I was like, come on, what are you talking about? Because he actually will clear the ball, went for corner kick, and they scored from that. But we had the chance to also defend the corner kick. So how good a play is that? So for me, I don't think he did badly against Benin Republic. I think the coach pulled him out because of tactical substitution. Against Rwanda, I think he did better. I think arguably our best player, in that loss. And for me, I think he's a guy that can still get further call ups. He just needs to blend with the team very well. And then Guavon too, I don't think he did well. I think he actually want for him to bring that boy in his debut to start. Why can't we just introduce him in slightly? I understand. Maybe probably there's no quality defenders on the bench. Maybe that's the reason why he just he actually started with him in the first half. But for me, Osho had a good performance, and I think that he deserves another call up, even when Ajayi is back.
Hmm. Okay. And I definitely think that he's somebody that can help us in the future. I
Hmm.
think he has a role to play. Something that I find interesting is that let me say some of the people that are against Osho's inclusion or were not impressed by his performance are clamoring for Ajayi. No, 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 Ajayi, 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 Ajayi.
Hmm.
And I laugh because is this not the same Ajayi that Nigerian fans used to criticize? And oh, what does he do with the ball? Oh, this one, that one, is too slow. Is this, is that? But now, oh no, Ajayi, we need Ajayi, we need Ajayi. But ultimately, I think Gabriel Shaw is a player that can assist the national team in the future. He's 26 years of age. He's
Hmm.
playing in the French League One. You expect him to be getting into the peak of his powers within the
Hmm.
next few years. With
Hmm.
the aging William Trust Ekong, Ajayi is also not the youngest. We need to try to find, fairly consistent pipeline of players. So I think that he's somebody that definitely should be considered in the future. I
Hmm.
think he has a role to play. Would he necessarily come and be a starter immediately? Not really. But can he deputize? I think he definitely can deputize.
Yeah.
Let's not. I'm not going to judge him based on this window and the fact that we had bad results in this window. I'm trying to judge him based on his own individual performance. I thought like he did, on the ball he was okay, off the ball he was okay. Overall, the defense still needs chemistry. This is something that we see, especially even at club level. Is the reason why coaches don't just be changing their back four from game to game to game to game, because your defenders, your center backs need that chemistry, need to play with each other more often. To know how each other communicate, to know how the players position themselves. Just those little details that
Yeah.
help um, towards getting positive results. But yeah, kudos to him on winning his first two caps for the Super Eagles, and hopefully lots more to come in the future. And then I think final player that I would say we should talk about their performance from that game, yesterday's game, is the goalkeeper Maduka Okoye. So you and I have both been on here in the past talking about how Okoye is doing well for Denise, playing really well for a team in the Italian Serie A, and we felt like he deserves an opportunity to be put in the goal for the Super Eagles. Um, Due to unfortunate circumstances surrounding Stan Bali, Okoye got his chance and played in this game against Rwanda. Two goals conceded, no save made, as Rwanda scored from their only two shots on target in the game. And in typical Nigerian fashion, whenever we lose a game, whenever we get an undesirable result, people look for who to blame. People tend to look for who to say was the reason why we lost or why we did not get the results that we desired. And people, there's a number of people put the blame on Maduka Okoye for this one. People feel like the second goal that we considered he should not have let in, even though the second goal was as a result of defensive miscoordination, should I call it that, and just lack of awareness from experienced professionals, from top level players that play in Europe. But people still felt like it went between because the ball went between Maduka's legs, he should have saved it. So, like, what are your thoughts on Maduka Okoye's performance? How do you think he did in that game against Rwanda?
It's just unfortunate that he conceded 2 goals. And you know that he's not the best among Nigerian journalists or even fans, because I don't know, maybe he's too handsome for them. Anytime Okoye is in goal, they always feel intimidated, that these guys actually got here again. I can see a lot of people blaming Okoye for the second goal. Well, you have to call out Osai Samuel too, for actually because your defenders are meant to protect you, not to expose you. So Okoye was exposed and he actually was considered. The first goal wasn't enforced. So second goal, he probably have done better. But they can't just keep on exposing you like this. You can let it in. That is it. So and people have been saying that because Nwabali is not there. But Nwabali was there when that goal against Benin Republic. That goal was even easier to save. Normally, how did Nwabali allow that goal to actually what? How did he allow that ball to go into the net? People just pick who to blame. For me, the best goalkeeper can concede goals, but I don't think we should call out Maduka Okoye. If they pass, if a ball like Kansi was saved, he will save it. But people were complaining that he didn't even control his defense. No, it's just unfortunate that he conceded 2 goals. But for me, I think there's we can't really judge him. Maybe he did well or not, because there's no he didn't make any save. But for me, I think that it's just unfair for us to blame him for that for those goals that he actually was considered. And if you are blaming him for those goals, also blame Mwabali for the goal was considered 2 against the Republic. So you can't spare one and leave one. No, you have to be able to, you have to be objective about the other. Yeah, that's my take on that.
Mm. And I think it is rather unfortunate that there's a Nigerian player that is getting a lot of hate watch from
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians.
Mm-hmm.
There's people in the media, there's fans that are just waiting for something to happen to
Mm-hmm.
just be able to say, "Look at this boy. You see, I told you. Well, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that?" I'll start by saying I definitely do not think that the second goal we considered was his fault by
Mm-hmm.
any means. I don't know if you've done your tactical breakdown. I know you usually do, but I wish I could play the video. I just don't want to get any copyright issues. If
Mm-hmm.
you look at that goal and you break it down frame by frame, the way we consider that goal, it starts with a free kick that we concede.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Onyedika is a player that plays in the Belgian Pro League, plays in the UEFA Champions League. You would expect Onyedika to have better awareness or more awareness than this. So the team is going on the counter. Rwanda, that is, you commit a foul,
Mm-hmm.
free kick to Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now instead of you to try to find a way to hold the ball up, to delay it, to get your players the time to come back on defense. If you look, Onyedika goes after the ref blows the whistle, just in 2 seconds, he drops the ball on the ground. He does as if he's going to stop them, but he doesn't stop them from taking the quick free kick. That's the first mistake there. You are playing at the high level, you play in the UEFA Champions League. You need to be aware of these quick free kicks. That's the reason why players will put the ball on the ground and they will stand in front of it. Just, they were about to hit you on the counter just to give yourselves a chance to recover. So that's where I think the first mistake happened. And then once that happened, now obviously they play the ball quickly. Our players are chasing, trying to get back into position. And like you rightly mentioned, because of that quick free kick that they took, Vice Osai Samuel is now out of position because
Mm-hmm.
Osai Samuel has stepped up and he is now ahead or in front of the halfway line. So they play one pass, Osai Samuel is out of the picture. They play another pass. Now William Trist Ekong has to go out wide to try to help and to try
Yeah.
to cover for Osai Samuel. When
Mm-hmm.
that happens, obviously across the board, people have to try to adjust their positioning to try to cover. Fortunately for them, unfortunately for us, when they play the cross, the ball goes between the legs of William Trust Ekong, and then the incoming Nshuti was there and put it between the legs of Maduka Okoye. Now, I don't blame Maduka Okoye because it was a quick action. Yes, you say the ball went between his legs, but it was a quick action. Not too much he could have done. Not many goalkeepers saved that. The only thing that I would say is that once the ball went in, I knew that people were going to start blaming him. Um, I think it's one of those cases whereby you are not at fault for not saving it, but if you have saved it, if you had saved it, it would have put you over the top. You know, it's one of those things that a most goalkeepers don't save, but the top goalkeepers would probably save it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So it wasn't his fault, but if he had saved it, it would have shown us that okay, yeah, we have a guy that we can trust between the sticks here. But all in all, not the results we wanted. We considered that goal. I just think that people need to be calming down a little bit. I think people need to not just always want to light fire under somebody's bum. You know,
Mhm.
give people a chance. Support them even when the chips are down, when things are not going our way. Support them, cheer the players on, and hopefully results can change. Like we said earlier, things are not looking too bright for us in terms of our results recently. In our last 5 matches, we have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 defeat. Only real comfortable victory in those last 5 games was the victory that we did not play to get the 3-0 against Libya. But yeah, that's that on the game against Benin Republic. Smith, do you want to add any final thoughts? Say anything before we?
I just want to add few things too because I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you mentioned Boniface. You did mention Boniface.
No,
the
you
critical.
can go.
Okay, I just want to mention. I like that too. A lot of people have been saying that. Maybe Boniface did not play well too. I know that actually was joined them to say that it don't perform for Nigeria, but Boniface played a system, and if you don't have a system, there's no way Boniface can function. If you look at the tactics against in the game against Benin Republic, when we went 1-0 down, it was get the ball to Simon, cross the ball. Get the ball to Simon, cross the ball. That is not Boniface game. You have to pass the ball, put the ball on the ground. You have to pass the ball. But if there's no definite style of play, what's going to happen? This guy will not be able to perform well. So for me, I think the Super Eagle is not ready for Boniface. Not as if Boniface is not ready for Super Eagles. The Super Eagles currently is not ready for Boniface, for a player like Boniface. The Super Eagles only favor a player like Victor Osimhen because just cross the ball, it can thrive on commotion. It can thrive on jaga jaga, it can thrive on anything. That's Victor Osimhen for you. But for Boniface, I think the reason why he's underperforming is because there's no system in place that can actually work. It can slot in and it can actually perform well. And another thing I just want to add basically is this: a team that were meant to take 6 points off next year took 4 points from us this year. That is actually what Rwanda. So it's making it very difficult because there's no account you want to write it. They actually what highly motivated now. For example, they didn't qualify, but they were so happy that they got those 3 points from Nigeria. You cannot tell me that September next year, September 7 next year, that when we are hosting them in Uyo, they will just lie down and wait to be slaughtered. No, they will go after us because they know that they got the result and they can actually win. And I just want to mention lastly about us there, Guavo. They keep getting the wrong headlines, and it's so sad. One, well, I've never lost to Rwanda before, and actually what he got the first loss. People have been saying that 5 losses in how many games? Come on, he's doing well. The draw and the losses are very crucial for Nigeria. For me, if this game is a formality, but the pride of being a Nigeria should not make you just lie down there and be disgraced by Rwanda. And what happened was that the response after the goal made me sad too. That's bringing Osimhen, dumping cross again. Like it just needs a plan so that this team can actually can thrive. For now, we need a coach that can excite us tactically, that we can be happy that is on the bench. It will tinker this team. But for now, we don't have a coach that can actually what can tinker it, and it's so sad that we're in this place. So against Benin Republic, against Rwanda, I just think that the last time we had a similar result like this was in June when we drew 1-1 to South Africa and we lost against Benin Republic. So there was a change of guard, around that time. I also expect change of guard too this time around.
You already went into what I was going to ask you about next, in terms of the coaching situation. So,
I still have more to say.
Anybody that has been following the podcast, that has been listening or watching us, knows that you're not the biggest fan of Austin Eguavon. And
Uh-huh.
it looks like you've gradually been justified. You told us it's going to start well, things are going to slow down, things are not going to be so smooth sailing for us. And kind
Uh-huh.
of like you called it, is the way things have happened. Is the
Uh-huh.
way things have happened for us.
I need to open a
Ultimately, you need to open a church. You know, ultimately, if you look at these 6 matches now, these AFCON qualifiers,
Mm-hmm.
it's 3 wins, 2 draws, 1 defeat.
Mm-hmm.
In if you're Eguavon and you're doing your personal analysis,
Mm-hmm.
can he look at that and say, I won 50% of those matches now? It's not bad. What do you think?
He won 50% in the aircraft. He didn't win. So if for us to say it's 2/5, let's say it that way. Because the other one is 2/5, that is 40%.
Okay, if we remove 2/5, okay, you
Yes,
said
2/5. Because Libya is going to arbitration. When they finish from arbitration, then so it's 2/5,
mm,
40%. He won 40% of those games. And sometimes, I don't know the university, so a lot of people attend. Sometimes when you score 40%, you might have to retake it sometimes. So for me, I think he failed. He failed. I just think that I told you that is same for you. Things will start very well, but it's going to slow down. And I told you something. You didn't mention that. I said that when he play against the Republic again, after that 3-0 win, that he will not beat Genetro. I'm going to go and look for that clip in one of our podcasts. He already repeat it. The same thing too. If you play against him once, the next time you come for him again, you will tactically outclass him.
hmm.
That is it. He does not know how to change it. He doesn't know how to change it. That is it. And I'm saying this now, if under this manager, if he goes again in March, in fact, it's not going to be 2-1 again. It's going to be embarrassing.
Hmm.
It's going to go down further because it's just someone that when you know what he can do, you will honestly get him. That is the issue. And it's a good one. Just if you want to hire Guavon, hire him for 2 games. That's all. Then you are fine.
So you think he's the perfect interim, but don't let it
No,
start going too long.
no, don't build a team with him.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Okay. So looking at that now, you said you are expecting there to be a change of
Mm-hmm.
guard.
Mm-hmm.
We have approximately, let's say, 3.5, almost 4 months,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or even about 4 months, December, January, February. Okay, three
Yeah.
months and then March. So about 3-4 months, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Before these games, do you have confidence in the NFF that if they let Eguavon go now, they are going to be able to hire somebody and hire a good person to take over the job and be ready by the time we have to do battle in March?
I think they will hire any. What they need is evidence. Evidence now is full everywhere now. Because sometimes when you say that, oh, our people can actually work, can do the job, they give to finish the judge. Oh, my experience, Eguavon telling, I did well, let's pack in. But now, when they see the job performance, a lot of people don't know. The Libya game in New York was a very shambolic performance too. But because we won 1-0, people did not mention that.
Hmm.
So, is I think the NFF, if the NFF cannot get a manager by January next year, I think they should dissolve that organization because I think it's not getting too much. It's not getting too much because you cannot have interim for both Super Falcons and Super Eagles. There's no way part-time job for one of your best brands. You can't. And Eguavon should tell them. I expect Eguavon is a man of honor. You should go and tell them now that I'm not doing this job for you again. No. Go and look for somebody. Maybe they go and collect Ogumere and they should go. I don't know. But you should tell them clearly that you cannot actually continue with the job again because come on. We need to try better. I think the NFF will do it. Now I'm back in the NFF to get a new coach by January. That will excite us practically. And the funny thing is that all the coach that applied for the job before, they've got a new job now, and they are doing very well in the countries of where they got the new job. Like Avarinal is doing well in Saudi Arabia, Tom Santos is doing well in Mali, and this guy too is doing well in Jamaica, and Maxi McLaren. So they are doing well. Look at the interview; they are doing well. They've got a new job. They've got a different job.
I mean, this whole coaching situation, this was the situation that we threw ourselves into when we had sacked Kenneth Rowe in 2018 or in 2019 that led to Eguavon coming in initially. We thought we had kind of fixed it partially with Pesero. Now we're back in that situation. For me, I don't even want to get into my feelings about the NFF. I'm just really hoping and praying that they're able to get some things right. Let's get somebody on board. Let's get a top coach for these players. Let's not waste this generation, this crop of players that we have that people believe so much in. And hopefully, things are able to turn the corner for us looking ahead to the game or the games in March.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's where we'll wrap up on the Super Eagles specifically. But in order to wrap up very quickly on the AFCON qualifiers, let's just do a very quick rundown or run through and just give our quick thoughts on all the different AFCON qualifying groups. So, of course, the qualifying series ended today. Groups A to Group L. Let's talk about each group very quickly. Who qualified, who didn't, and who impressed us. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So Group A, we had group winners Comoros. Of course, storied team. We all remember how they embarrassed Ghana, at the AFCON. But yeah, storied team in that sense. They won Group A with 12 points, and then finishing second was Tunisia with 10 points. Third, the Gambia with 8 points, and then bottom of the group was Madagascar with 2 points. So Comoros and Tunisia qualified for the AFCON. Smith Layi, any surprises there for you?
For me, it's Gambia. Gambia have one of the best young players in Africa. Yakubu Mente and Dama Boyan. They have these players, scattered. They even got one player from North County. He just made his debut in this last game. But unfortunately, they're not going to be going to AFCON. And also, what Madagascar? You mentioned Madagascar. They beat Nigeria too. So if we're talking about Ghana, say Comoros beat Ghana. Madagascar to beat Nigeria in 2019. So remember in that AFCON, and we lost 2-0 to them. That was a big shock. On against Raw, but they don't go going to the AFCON too. So one good thing I like about Comoros is this: most of their players are even not those big players there. And the good thing about them is this: they are topping the World Cup qualifier group. They are also going to the AFCON ahead of Ghana. They're topping the World Cup qualifier group ahead of Ghana and Mali. They're also going to the AFCON. That tells you that they are doing something right. So for me, I think I'm really actually happy with Comoros. I'm surprised that Gambia flopped in this qualified series. And they lost their coach, Tom Santos to Mali. The one wanted to employ too. So I think since he left, they have been getting mixed results. And one thing too that even affected Gambia was that they renovated their stadium in Banjul. They went to CAF for approval. CAF did not give them approval. So they have to go and play their home game away from home. So that all those missed things, really affected them. So that's why I think, Gambia are not going to this AFCON. And the English coach too, they're going to go and get with no experience. I think, probably fire him. So okay, that is not bad. Yeah.
Is it English? That was Northern Irish.
No, it's not Irish. Sorry, it's not Irish. I'm not until that British manager. So
Mm.
British manager.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I just say kudos to Comoros.
Hmm.
To go through the entire qualification series unbeaten, I think
Hmm.
is definitely a plus for them.
Yeah.
And then yeah, Gambia, would have expected Gambia to qualify ahead of Comoros, but
Hmm.
if you don't do the job on the field,
Yeah.
you cannot come and blame anybody after.
Anybody? Yes.
Okay, Group B. Group B, we had topping the group Morocco with 18 points. That is 6 wins out of 6 wins.
Hmm.
Big wins 4-1 against Gabon, 5-0 against CAR, 4-0 against CAR, 7-0 against Lesotho. So they really stamped their mark on that one. Second in Group B was Gabon with 10 points. Third were Lesotho with 4 points. And fourth were CAR with 3 points. So Morocco and Gabon qualifying from this group. Now, I'll go first on this one. I'll say Morocco. Morocco are who Nigeria wish we were. In terms of organization, in terms of results, in terms of everything, they are who we wish we were. They seem to be moving continuously, trending in the right direction, whereas we seem to not have that continuity. Morocco haven't lost a game since they lost 2-0 to South Africa at the AFCON.
Hmm.
And that's
Hmm.
a way to prepare for the next tournament. Does that mean they are going to win it? No. Does that mean that they are going to beat Nigeria for sure if we play them? No. But it shows that you are putting in the work and you are trying to move in the direction that you are supposed to be moving. Um, like I said, big wins. When they face a team like Lesotho, they don't say, "Oh, we've already qualified, so we took our foot off the gas." They don't say, "Oh, Lesotho played well." No excuses, no explanation for the opponent. They go and they beat them 7-0. When they play against a team like Gabon at home 4-1, away 5-1, they go and they beat them properly. When they play against a team like Central African Republic, at home they give them 5, you go to their own country, you give them 4. You beat them properly, you let them hear when, you let them know that you're their big brother, they are the junior brother. So congrats to Morocco, fantastic qualification campaign, and congratulations to Gabon as well. Gabon is one of those teams that tends to they flatter to deceive. You think that they are good, then they don't do well. We saw how in the last AFCON qualification in 2023, they were just really not um, a very good team. They didn't qualify for the last one. So hopefully this one they are able to do better and we can at least see Aubameyang in another AFCON. But yeah, Smith, like your thoughts on this could be quickly.
Just to mention Brahim Diaz, he used Lesotho to collect a top scorer award in AFCON qualifier. That's one thing. Now you beat the team in front of you, and I can
Yep.
tell you that the way Morocco is doing it's like if they want to eat chicken, they will eat the chicken with the feathers. They
Hmm.
also want everything. They finish it on the spot.
No time to the pay
No, no,
chicken.
no, no time to the feel that they go go use mouth see everything come out. And I can tell you that they actually what they did well. See, with this 18 points, now see, who do you think will face Morocco in the World Cup qualifier and Morocco will not and they will not be scared? They will not be wetting
Hmm.
them. Will they will they will they will. That's why I said Zambia to forget World Cup. I think they're in the same group with Zambia. Sorry. So you will see that this is the fear factor we have to create. To this team because they don't have the respect again for us. I don't think that on paper Morocco have like a better team than Nigeria, but it's just that they are more organized and they know exactly what to do. Most now their strength now is on set pieces. That's what is trending now. Look at Aston Villa. Look at Arsenal. I think the Moroccan two are going. Imagine you use that routine set pieces in Africa. You'll be scoring goals anyhow.
Hmm.
Eh, yes, because in Africa, where defenders lack concentration, you now have a good defensive coach that can help you to do set pieces. To set pieces coach that can help you to do set pieces. You'll be scoring goals. I don't know why we cannot exploit that. Maybe like government, they do everything. They do code, they do forward, they do midfield, they do. You know, we need to exploit those small holidays to be able to navigate through and get to where we deserve to actually be.
Mm, mm. Well said. Well said. Okay, let's move on quickly. We go to Group C, where we had group winners Egypt finishing with 14 points, runners up Botswana finishing with 8 points. We had third place Mauritania with 7 points, and then fourth place Cape Verde with 4 points in that group. So Egypt, of course, another team that went into this qualification series, and other than their last two games that they just drew, they were on a clear, clear path. They hadn't considered a goal until this international breaks. Like, how do you assess this group?
No, I'm just happy for Botswana.
Mm,
They're doing something very right there. Remember that the one guy, from Botswana won the 200 meters at the Olympics.
in the Olympics.
Yes, and and they have the youngest FA president in Africa. I'm going to remember his name now. I saw him on Super Sports. So they're doing something right. They're trying to take football to the youth, and their coach left. Imagine, coach left after the last international window. I think they brought in a new coach, the coach for one of their top clubs in Botswana, and they did the job for them to qualify. So I'm happy for them. They are ahead of Mauritania. Mauritania was there in the last AFCON, and they also showed us they did well during the last AFCON. By taking Algeria out of the on the last AFCON. So, and also your darling Cape Verde. I know that you you tip them to actually to do well in the last AFCON, but unfortunately, they won't be going to this this
To
AFCON
this next one.
after
Yeah.
after turning heads, in the previous AFCON. So for me, I'm happy that Botswana is there. It's going to be lovely to see our friends from East Africa, and also Egypt. Egypt will also qualify.
Mm.
So I'm happy for Botswana.
No, yeah. Congratulations to Egypt. Congratulations to Botswana. As far as Cape Verde, if it happened all the time,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't be a Cinderella story anymore.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful story anymore. So
Yes.
they'll miss out on this one, but hopefully,
They come back.
2027.
Mhm. They come back.
Hopefully they come back.
Yeah.
Okay, Group D, Nigeria won the group 11 points.
Mm.
Benin Republic second with 8 points. Rwanda third with 8 points. And then Libya fourth with 5 points. I don't think we've spent most of the day already talking about this group.
Mhm. Mhm.
But yeah, kudos to Nigeria, kudos to Benin,
Benin Republic.
kudos to Rwanda, kudos to
Benin drop.
Libya. You're tried, and
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to Getting Raw, man.
Yeah.
Uh, he continues to do the job, and
Yeah.
do a good job as well. Group E. Moving on to Group E, we have Algeria top of the group with 16 points. Algeria second, Equatorial Guinea with 8 points. Third, Togo with 5 points, and fourth, Liberia with 4 points. Like, your thoughts on this group quickly?
No, the highlight of this group is Equatorial Guinea, making the making the AFCON. And it's gonna be nice it'll be lovely to see their fans too in Morocco, It'll be lovely. I know that it's gonna be one of the highlights, of the of the next year's AFCON in Morocco. So unfortunately, I wanted Togo to qualify. But our two West African neighbors, friends there, Togo and Liberia, they have to share the bottom and the third position. So two of them will not be there, and that's a minus to Wafu. In my own opinion, I think Wafu, we don't have enough representative in this year's AFCON. We keep on getting last, third and last. Maybe they're taking football away from us. So Algeria, as usual, only one draw, 5 wins. Petkovic did not start well, but is now doing the job for Algeria. He's trying different formation. See, Algeria will be a monster in Morocco next year.
Hmm,
In fact, he's changing the team around. He's tinkling the team, and I think that apart from that, they will even surprise us at the World Cup.
hmm. And they had some good wins in this qualification series.
Yes, yes,
Only one draw.
only one draw.
Should be a good team to watch,
Yes,
Algeria, for
yes,
sure.
yes.
Okay, Group F. Top of Group F, we had Angola with 14 points.
Mm-hmm,
Second, we had Sudan 8 points. Third,
mm-hmm,
Niger 7 points. And then fourth of Group F, we had our brothers, Ghana, bottom, languishing at the bottom with 3 points out after 6 matches played. So Charlie, it be things, sometimes life can be like that. Um, on a day that Nigeria lost, Ghana said, don't worry, we cannot even dare banter you today because our whole organization is a joke. I saw the Ghanaian journalists, attacking Otto Addo. Otto Addo too is going back at them,
Mm-hmm.
talking about how he's been a coach for how long, he's been a scout
12
for so
years.
long, talking
Scout for
about
6 months.
how in Dortmund they are happy with him, this one, that one. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I don't wish bad on anybody, but it's always nice when you see your your noisy rivals, when you see them in this kind of mess. It's always nice to see. Cannot beat Angola, cannot beat Niger, cannot beat Sudan. Just absolutely shambolic performance from Ghana in this qualification series. Um, Missing out on the AFCON, I think, is what they deserve. They haven't shown us anything to say that they are one of the best teams in Africa. Hopefully, things can get better for them and things can get better quick because they need it. It, of course, just continues to be embarrassing for us that unfortunately, this is a team that stopped us from going to the last World Cup. But like we said, Comoros are disturbing them this year as well, this qualification round. So let's see how let's see how that one goes. But all in all, congratulations to Angola. Big congratulations to Sudan. With Kwesi Appiah, Ghanaian, who of course has disappointed his countrymen, but of course has excited his employers. But yeah, is a crazy one, But I'm happy with how the group turned out. So your thoughts on Group F, play?
For me, it got to a stage that I wanted Ghana to qualify just because of my love for Otto Hado. But unfortunately, things didn't actually turn out the way I actually was wanted it. This group is just a very funny group. And on paper, you think Ghana will be top with the group. They're now the last in the group. And I've been following their story too. Ghana has never won an AFCON match for the past since 2019. They've never won an AFCON match, and they won only one match in that AFCON 2019. So Ghana won one match across like three AFCONs. So it can never go this low for Ghana any longer. Like this is like the lowest of the low. And if they can be patient with Otuado, it's going to actually come out and actually perform and change this situation for them. So, I don't know. You've already said everything about Ghana. I don't know what else to actually say about them. I just think that, if you have players that can deliver on paper and you lose at home to Angola, you lost at home against the Niger Republic, and also, you got whitewashed, at home, away against Sudan. So, it's just a very crazy group. But, like you said, Ghana will help us to be, when we want to prepare for AFCON. You want to send anybody go errand, we look for some of them, I know that's to send them go some places because they will be at home. So, and I want to highlight what Angola has been doing. When we beat Angola in the final of the AFCON, most of us agree that Angola actually did well, but we were just supposed to to like a better playing Nigerian side. So I'm happy that they qualified now. I want them to continue, and show us that they're doing well. So for me, it's a good group. And Ghana, I'm sorry, you're gonna be at home, but that's where you belong. And kudos to Coach Appiah too. It was disgraced in Ghana, but now return as a hero.
Mm, mm. All right, all right.
That's one thing too. I'm
Okay.
I'm trying to put my data together. The two teams that came last too, they're also from West Africa.
Mm.
So
Okay, let's move quicker because of time.
yes,
Group G, Group
yes.
G. Zambia won that group with 13 points. Ivory Coast, of course, defending champions, finished second with 12 points. Sierra Leone finished third with 5 points, and then Chad bottom of the group with 3 points. Like quickly thoughts on Group G.
Zambia, highlight of the group. Zambia, they only lost once to Ivory Coast, and since then they kicked off the qualification. They won 4 games and draw only one. The most impressive was their home win against Ivory Coast, and also what away win against Sierra Leone today. And good team performance. The African champions lost 2 games, in this group. So against Sierra Leone and against Zambia. So for me, I think the favorite qualified. I think you expect Zambia and Ivory Coast to be there, and also Sierra Leone and Chad to stay at home. Yeah,
Yeah, two teams that you would expect to
to
qualify from
qualify.
this
Yeah,
group
from this group
normally.
stage. Thank you.
Group H, top of the group, DR Congo with 12 points, Tanzania second with 10 points, Guinea third with 9 points, Ethiopia fourth with 4 points. Guinea not qualifying for this AFCON. Smita, your thoughts on the group?
Yeah, unfortunately, Cyril Gerassi, the guy from Dortmund, a lot of people think that it will be the next African player of the year, maybe probably second to Lemar Lukman, but not going to the AFCON. He was so upset about the game against Tanzania today, but that's how it is. When you have a strong league, you have spent money on your league very well. I think Tanzania deserved to actually be in this AFCON. And for me, that's what they did the hard work. They won away against Ethiopia, and they also won at home today against Guinea. For me, I would have expected DR Congo and Guinea to qualify, but Tanzania did the impossible. Another one again, another casualty, Guinea, West Africa, not
Mm.
qualifying.
And yeah, Guinea definitely a big miss. Sekou Kurasi, one of the best African players of the past year, will not be at the tournament. But of course, losing that final game today against Tanzania was where it all fell apart. And I know that they'll be looking forward to seeing how they can bounce back from that. Okay, Group I, we have Mali topping the group with 14 points. Mozambique finishing second with 11 points. Guinea-Bissau finishing third with 5 points, and Eswatini bottom of the group with 2 points. So for Nigerian fans, I think the first piece of good news, if you look at it like that, is that Guinea-Bissau did not qualify, so we are not going to face them at this next AFCON. But yeah, Mali, Mozambique qualifying from this group. Smith, like your thoughts?
For me, I'm happy that for Tom Santifet, a lot of people did not believe in him, but when he took over from Mali, things turned around for Mali. They start playing very well. You understand the African terrain very well. Tom Santifet, forget about his skin color. If you go and test his DNA, he's like an African guy. He knows, understand the African mentality, African football very well. I know Mali will qualify, but I was surprised that Guinea-Bissau could not do it, despite hiring Luis Buamonte, the Isan coach of
Mhm.
Fulham. We thought that he can do it. They also have a very beautiful home ground too. Unfortunately, they lost to Mozambique. We will not also think that Mozambique don't decide to qualify because they were good during the last AFCON too. Remember that they nearly even they drew 2-2 against Ghana, and nearly even qualified for the second round in the last AFCON. So for me, I think it was close call between Mozambique and Guinea-Bissau, but I'm not surprised Mali top the group
Mm,
and it's certainly last.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, Group J, topping the group, we have Cameroon with 14 points, Zimbabwe with 9 points, Kenya with 6 points, Namibia with 2 points. Congratulations to Cameroon. Of course, Cameroon have not been the best, team in recent times, and I'm sure they'll be glad to be making this one fairly comfortably. Zimbabwe, of course, again, shout out to Zimbabwe, not the biggest footballing nation, qualifying for this tournament. But Smith, like, your thoughts on this group?
For me, I think since if you remember very well, when after the AFCON, we and Cameroon we started looking for coach at the same time. When we went to go and when we went to go and play friendly game against Mali and Ghana in Morocco, Cameroon was still looking for a coach. That was the reason why they didn't use that window
Mm,
for this thing. They got Uzi Mark Bruce from Belgium. Since then, Cameroon have not lost a game.
mm,
They are on top of the World Cup qualifier group now from a dangerous position, and they are also what? They have also qualified for the AFCON.
mm,
So to tell you that they are also what? They have not lost a competitive game. So that what? They actually what? They are doing well. They won 4 games in this qualifier series and only drew what? 2 games. So he brought in Onana. They are back. So for me, I'm happy. And I have to give kudos to Zimbabwe too. Just coming from a FIFA ban and playing this qualifier again, doing well. They got a new coach now, a foreign coach. He organized his team together, brought some foreign born players to that team, They are playing very well now, and they qualify for this AFCON ahead of what? Ahead of Kenya and Namibia. So unfortunately, Namibia played in last AFCON. They will not be in this AFCON. Kenya played in 2019 AFCON. They will not be in this AFCON. So I'm happy that Zimbabwe, this is where they deserve to be, and actually what in the right place now.
All right, all right. Group K, South Africa, top of the group with 14 points. Uganda finishing second with 13. Congo Republic finishing third with 4 points. And then South Sudan finishing fourth with 3 points. Comfortable qualification for South Africa. Uganda also going through in that group. So, like your thoughts quickly.
So and and that actually was good thing for South Africa since Ugo Bruce became coach of South Africa. He turned everything around. They qualified for the AFCON. Because this not qualified for the one in 2021. They got to third place in the last AFCON, losing to Nigeria on penalties. Since then they are joined top in their World Cup qualifier group. They qualify for this AFCON with ease. Will tell you that their football is also moving forward. So in this scenario, you will expect South Africa to be top. And also I'm happy for Uganda. Uganda learned that they have qualified for the AFCON just before their game against South Africa. So maybe they actually they did not really perform well. They lost at home to South Africa in the game game 5. So for me, I expect South Africa and Uganda to qualify because they are Congo and South Sudan, they're not in the right place now, in all honesty. So I think South Sudan is not in the right place to qualify for the AFCON. They are doing well in basketball, but not football for now.
All right. And then finally, Group L. Topping the group, we had Senegal with 16 points. Second, Burkina Faso with 10 points. Third, Malawi with 4 points. And then fourth, Burundi with 4 points. Senegal, of course, qualifying comfortably. And then Burkina Faso finishing behind them. I think this group finished how you would have predicted it to finish, with Senegal and Burkina Faso making it into the tournament proper. But Smith, like, your thoughts quickly on this one.
Yes, I think Senegal deserve to actually be there. Don't forget that the middle of this qualifier, their coach contract expired. What's it called? The Aloy Cisse actually contract actually was expired, and they have to look for a new coach. So they brought in Papa Boma Tiao, the Chan winning coach, for Senegal, and you can see that his record speaks well for him. He won nearly all the games that he actually was coached. Cameroon won away against Burkina Faso to tell you that, I'm sorry, Senegal won away against Burkina Faso to tell you that he's building what? A very strong team. So we know that there's no surprises here. As I think Senegal is playing well under this man, better than even under Cisse, under this man now. So I think that they're in the right direction. Burkina Faso too, they will always be in the AFCON. They will always qualify for the group stage. From the group stage, they will always be there, but it's just for them to go to the next level.
Mm, mm. Okay, and there you have it, guys. The AFCON 2025 lineup is set. Of course, draws to come in the future. Um, Top goal scorer of the qualification, Brahim Diaz with 7 goals. Kudos to him. Top assists, we have Oswin Apolis of South Africa and Bruno Langa of Mozambique with 4 assists each. So congratulations to them for that one. Smidlai, your most impressive team and your most impressive player in qualification.
For me, I think I have to give it to Brahim Diaz. That's not when people talk about this African football thing. Sometimes it makes me have this weird headache. Hey, no, don't not some play African football. This guy just changing nationality from Spain to Morocco, and now he's becoming the boss in African football. So for me, I think we should go and bury the idea of African player not knowing how to play African football. We go and bury that idea. Brahim Diaz currently is the best player in this qualifying series, and I can sit down to the bank. He joined in the middle of the qualifier, but I think his impact on Morocco is no be small thing. I want to have to honest with you. I think he's my most very, very, I'm really impressed with what he actually did for Morocco. Ahead of any other player in this qualifying series. Grassi was very close, but because they didn't qualify, that's why I didn't pick him.
Yeah, and most impressive team for you.
For me, I think my most impressive was have to be Morocco too. Morocco. I told you about it. They're
Mm.
currently like the best team currently in Africa now. Going to this next AFCON, they are doing all the right thing, and I think that the only problem they had then was that playing South African teams Don't forget that they once lost to South Africa too in a qualifier, and they lost to them again in the AFCON. So they had issues, but now they are now getting results against those type of teams now. That is making them what? All rounder. The issue with Morocco is not playing against West Africa. It's playing against the Southern African team. They're not getting results against them now. So that makes them that, they're a team that, can actually what punish you on a good day. So for me, Morocco, because they have 18 points, I think that they deserve to be the best team. This, for me, they're the best team in this series.
Mm. And I think I would agree with you. I was hoping you'll say something different, so I would disagree. But Brahim Diaz, begrudgingly, we have to say he's been the best player. 4 games, 7 goals. Lead your team to cruise. Control,
Mhm.
qualifying comfortably. You have to say he was the best player. And then as far as the best team, you give it to Morocco as well. Unfortunate that Guinea didn't qualify. Girassi could have had a
Mhm.
shout there. Unfortunate that Nigeria couldn't keep it up. Maybe Lukman could have had a shout as well. But it is what it is, man. We look forward to the AFCON tournament proper.
Mhm.
Let me just quickly go back to the comments. Shout out to you guys, man, for engaging with us. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to TC Go with the super chats. It says long time IoT. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, we appreciate it. Paul says I disagree with Smith Layi assumption of Boniface. Boniface needs to learn African football. Someone like Boniface can't play in the PL. He likes to dress. He likes to dress ball. Maker says that Super Eagles' poor performances have now given Rwanda 126 rating versus 36 rating and other African countries the belief to go head to head with Nigeria. Um, Let me see. Ultimate Health says that Mokachi and Samson Siasia coaching team will do Nigeria a lot of good. However, football nepotism and politics will ruin such opportunity. Olu says, never knew the program is on. Good, you are back. Yes, we are back. Something that we have to figure out because of time difference. So typically we come on at, we usually used to do this at 10 or 10:30 p.m. Nigerian time. But with the daylight savings, that has now turned into 11 and 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m. Nigerian time. Unfortunately, because of schedules, this is a weekday with work and everything. I hope it works for you guys. So if you are in Nigeria, just to be aware that our schedule is now an hour later than it was for you. But I see the turnout today was good, so it means that you guys are like us. You're at home with nothing to do. But yes, that's that on the AFCON qualification. Okay, to wrap up for today, Smith Live. To wrap up for today, let's just cover um, 2 things very quickly. The first one, let's talk about the CAF Women's Champions League. So of course, the Edo Queens, impressive group stage performance, qualified for the semi-final of the tournament after defeating defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns, and then um, today, unfortunately today they fell to a defeat in that semi-final, 2-1 loss against TP Mazembe
Very well.
in extra time. Smilai, how would you assess the performance of Edo Queens at this Women's Champions League?
No, it's I was hoping that Edo Queens, I saw them play in the Wafu qualifiers. I was hoping that they'll be able to compete and play the final for the first Nigerian team to play in the final of the CAF Women's Champions League. But unfortunately, I think they met a team that were more prepared, a team that were well coached, and that was the reason why they actually was lost. And another thing that did not went against them was that their coach does not even have certificate to stay on the touchline. He has to be shouting from the crowd and everything. So all those things did not really work for them. Today they lost against Steve Mazembe. It was a tactical mistake by the coach, which I know that we understand now because in the 88th minute he brought in some players to try and stabilize the game. But since that time, the the Congolese took over the game, and the rest they say is now history. They dominated everything from that point. They equalized. In fact, they even nearly scored the winning goal in regulation time before it went to extra time, and they scored two more goals. Own goal by Comfort for Richard, and also what a penalty, considered by the Edo Queens, player. So for me, I think not a bad performance, but it would be good if they can go in against on Friday and win the bronze medal. But for me, I think that they would have, they would have won the game today, if not because of that mistake. They didn't do badly.
No, yeah, they definitely didn't do badly at all. Good showing for themselves. The result against Mamelodi Sundowns was definitely an impressive one.
Hmm.
Today, like you said, you know, just blowing it at the final moment. Unfortunate. Um, and let's hope that he can bounce back. Finish with the bronze medal. Let's know that you gave a good outing. You came back home with something, and hopefully more Nigerian teams can keep on performing like this. Edo Queens can keep on performing well. And I thought it was a good one. Just for perspective, of course, you reach the final four of an 8-team tournament.
Hmm.
It's not the hardest thing to do, but still, if you are in that situation, you have to do it, and they did it. So we'll give them the credits for doing that. Okay, and then
I
finally.
want to ask you a question before you move on.
Okay,
Two
yeah.
things. Do you think that CAF should consider a more bigger CAF Women's Champions League, like the way men used to play their Champions League too? And secondly, too, do you also think that there's some players in this Edo Queens too that should be Super Falcons of Nigeria?
Um, I think as far as the size of the tournament, I think CAF is actively considering it. But it's one of those things that you have to consider it, but you also have to look at the level of competition. You don't want to, because you want to call more teams, now extremely, extremely water on the competition to the point that, you know, teams that cannot play at all are qualifying, just because you expanded it. So
Mm-hmm.
that's where the dilemma is. I watched the 3-0 win that they had against the Ethiopian team.
Uh-huh.
You could tell that these Ethiopian girls are not very, excuse me, are not very good,
Mm-hmm.
are not very good players.
Yeah.
So
Even
it's
with the
hard to
Senegalese team self in group A. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
so they cannot expand it. They cannot expand it yet. And then, as far as, do I think that any of these players should be Super Falcons players? I think the two players that jump out of the screen would have to be SCN and Folashade Jamilusi. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, Folashade, we already saw her part of the setup. Scoring goals. She's a hungry player,
Mm-hmm.
if I should put it that way. So I think that potentially can offer something. And then SKN as well. I like her. I like the effort that she puts in. I like the, just the instincts that she has in the attack. So I think that she's somebody that could potentially be a Super Falcons player. Now, are they better than who is already there? That's the question that needs to be answered. Are they going to improve the team? Question that needs to be answered. But do they have a chance in the team? For sure, I think they do.
So I want to ask you: do you think Falahade Yamazisi will be better forward player or midfield player?
I don't know. I feel like I would want to watch her more and more consistently to be able to make that assessment. But as of right now, or maybe I'll say forward.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, I just think maybe I'm not too excited about her technical skill to
Mm-hmm.
play her in the midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's.
Yeah.
Um, okay. John Jones says only MMSCN for now. Jamilusi did not impress today. Olu says Osigwe is not bad too. Okay. I can see people are complaining about the Super Eagles camp. Somebody said too many players or too many people are visiting Eagles camp friends, YouTubers, and bloggers, all these cause distractions which might affect their performances. I will say I don't think that they can use that as an excuse for their performances. But I will say I kind of agree that too many people are in camp. What I would like, and I have to tread this carefully because hey, I'm a content creator myself. If I were available, I would want to be there. I would want to create content. I understand those that are going there. I just think that the NFF needs to maybe be a little bit more selective in who they give this media access to, because um, somebody like Eagle Striker now, for example, that has been putting in work covering Nigerian football every day for the past 4 5 years. Do they deserve to be able to speak to the Nigerian players? Yes. Sports journalists that put in the work week in, week out, do they deserve to be able to speak to these players in camp? Yes. But if somebody is a comedian on TikTok or on social media, does that person necessarily deserve or to be in the Super Eagles camp? I don't think so. If they are doing a concert tomorrow, maybe one big show with a bunch of musicians and big stars in Nigeria, and I go there and I say, "Oh, I'm a content creator from Eagle Striker. We cover Nigerian football." Would they allow me to attend that concert and say, "Oh, I want to cover," and they will give me media access and everything? Not really. So that's where I think they need to do better. Give access to those that are actually deserving of access, and not just everybody, so that we don't have these issues. But with that being said, having the players talking to people for 1 hour of one day in a 7 day camp does not
Mm.
affect their performances on the field.
Yeah.
I know when you are seeing every Tom, Dick, and Harry posting videos, it seems like a lot of stuff is happening. But the
Hmm.
reality of it is that the whole media palette is 1 hour. In that
Yeah.
1 hour, people will record as many videos as they can and everything. And it seems as if, oh, are these boys, are they even training? Are they doing this? Are they doing that? So I think that it's an irrelevant point when it comes to performance. You can, the fact that you are here watching this live stream now for over 1 hour does not mean that when you go to work, you're going to be bad at work tomorrow.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't use that as as a reason for bad performance. Even though, like I said, I do think that access needs to be restricted to those that are actually deserving of access, those that actually care about the football, and not just those that are coming to use our players for content.
Hmm.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. You want to say anything about that? Okay.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. That that NFL will need to be more selective so that you guys can actually was also concentrate too. But I don't know how they want to do that. Maybe it's gonna be the cap coordinator or it's gonna be those in charge of the accreditation. I don't know how they want to do that. But for me, I just think that there are some things that you will not really see from from like these teams, big teams. For example, now if because like I wants to like grant like a content creator interview, you will see that it's going to be in Lions Den. They what they do this Lions Den thing. They go there, they talk and everything. So for me, I just think that we need to make sure that we also protect these players too. Because if you have access to teams like this, even if a player if one comedian come and arm them or you have to protect them. They're national treasures. So we need to expose them this way. And in my own opinion, I think that NFF needs to actually do better in that area. And also to probably complain about the dressing. I don't know. I know about journalists that you have to dress properly to stadiums or to present your work. But content creator, there's no dress code. So if you like like if you like wear boxers, if you like wear anything you like. So for me too, I just think that NFL need to have a sit down, talk with the coordinator, and see exactly what they can actually want to do, so that this team can be serious. This team, for them to qualify for the World Cup, they need more seriousness, in my opinion.
Mm, mm. All right, all right. And then finally, CAF Awards final short list has been released. Ademola Lookman, of course, is in the final five for the men's award. Congratulations to him. Stanley Nwabali is in the final five for the men's goalkeeper award. Congratulations to him as well. And then the Super Eagles have made the final shortlist for the national team of the year award. Um, I don't want us to get into it because I already know the answer. But of course, we're expecting Ademola Lukman to um, come home with the trophy, the CAF Player of the Year award. I mean, fantastic year he has had for both club and country. Nwabali is probably going to be a tall task to ask Nwabali to win the award ahead of Ronan Williams, the South African goalkeeper. But still, it's been a good year for Nwabali, you know. Seemingly out of nowhere to come into the national team, become the number one goalkeeper, and to be nominated for this award. I'm sure he's proud of himself. And then the only thing that I was wondering was, like, I don't know, are they going to, or when are they going to announce the nominees for the women's awards? Do you know?
The CAF would do what CAF would do. So they meant to announce this the same time with the with the men's category, but you don't know about CAF. That is it. Maybe they're gonna announce it in the next week. Maybe they want to do it week by week. I don't know, but they didn't make any statement regarding that.
Mm. Okay. But yeah, that's that on that. If you want to share your thoughts, now is the time for you to call in. We are going to try to give everybody a couple minutes just because it's already late. So we'll try to take it as quickly as possible. So please just try to keep your thoughts concise. And yeah, we appreciate you for contributing. Thank you for sticking with us. If you are on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe now. If you haven't liked the video on YouTube as well, please make sure you subscribe. It is a little thing that you can do to support and to send signals to the YouTube platform that we are putting out good stuff that you are enjoying. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can also leave a super chat. That would benefit us financially. And you can shop on Eagles Tracker shop.com, where we have Nigerian football merchandise like t-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, and so much more. Okay, we already have two people waiting, so let's go through it very quickly. Yes, good evening.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Good evening, AyoT. Longest time. Good evening, Smith Layi. Yeah, today was so good. I really enjoyed the discussion. First,
Yeah.
let me start with this. I'm not going to blame any players. I'm not going to condemn any players because this weekend, definitely Boniface is going to score. This weekend, definitely Osima is going to score. This weekend, definitely, by God's grace, let me use the God grace on it. Allah is going to put Arsenal into a miserable way. This weekend, you also see
Sorry,
what?
amen for that. I know an
Yeah,
Arsenal
yeah,
obvious. Go
yeah.
on.
Ah,
This weekend, you also see what's this called? This guy from Fenerbahce, Osai, is going to put a good performance. Now, he now begins to ask this question. Why is it that all our players are doing well at their club level? When they now come to the national team, they are not performing well. Now, the problem is not them. The problem is the coach. Van is a lazy man. Yes, I will say it. Van is a lazy man. Look at how I capitalize somebody a lazy man. You done something wrong. They gave you a correction to evaluate. You refuse to do it. Therefore, you are lazy. The same problem that happened in 2021, the same problem that make us not to qualify for the World Cup, still be repeating itself again. Now, what is Ihan Acho doing in that team? Ihan Acho of 2021 is different of Ihan Acho 2024. How old was he in 2021? How old was he in 2024? We all know that in football, the more you grow, the more that, definitely it goes by age. Everything has limit. It's something, it's not a long-term career. Rather, it's a short-term career. Now he's 27 years. And now he's 27 years. Lukman is 26 years. Now he's dropping form. He's not injured. You ask yourself that question. Then what are you doing there? And now you're claiming you want to play number 10. We all know that you are lazy. If you miss the ball, you are not coming back. And you want to come and play. Hell no. If I'm the coach, I will tell you, I'm not bringing you. Now I begin to understand the reason why Pasero refused to play him. I'm not beginning to see the reason why he did not want to play him, because he's very lazy. That one aside. Now, another person is Gabriel Osho. The first game against Benin Republic, I'm not going to condemn him. I will give him 6/10. Yeah, that's his first game. But game against Rwanda, I will give him 8.5/10 to show you that they're now beginning to understand the system. Assuming that he's a coach that knows what he's doing, he will perform better. That one, I'm not going to judge him. And the people condemning Maduka Okoye, I understand that we need to blame someone because we lost. Watch the game against Benin Republic. The goal they score against Wabali, assuming they score it Okoye, there will be a problem. We saw the goal against him, but we did not lose the game. Nobody talk about it. I understand that we lost the game. Everybody wants to shift the blame to Maduka Okoye. That one apart. Now, I look at all the qualifiers, the people in the group. Nigeria have the easiest group so far. In the World Cup qualifying, we have the easiest group so far. But we can't even play better, just perform very well. At least have the tactics that, this thing is working out for us. South Africa is performing well. We defeated them in the past AFCON. Angola is doing well. Senegal is doing well. Cameroon is doing well. But we are not doing well. Now, look at the group in Senegal. Now, remove Burkina Faso and put Nigeria in it. We will not qualify. Look at the group in Ghana. Remove Ghana and put Nigeria there. We will not qualify. Let's be honest to ourselves. Because the group people, the people we have is very, very easy. That is the only thing I have to say for now. This person have to step down. No, for me, Iguavan have to go. Smith have already explained everything. You have to go. I'm sorry to say it. Whoever that have his number, give it to me. I'm going to call him and say, hey, step down. Your brain is not occupying anymore. If you have his number, give it to me. I will talk to him. I am not fearing him. I'm not collecting anything from him. How I wish that our journalists, the way the Ghana journalists are pushing it to Rotuado, they will do that to Iguavan to know that this is not a child's play. You have everything to cook better soup, but you cook rubbish. I rest my case.
All right. Thank you very much, Humble Henry. Always firing, when he comes to give
From all cylinders.
his opinions. But I understand. I hear your frustration. We understand where you're coming from. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, that was Humble Henry. Thinks that the coach is the one that needs to get it right, as well as the NFF, and he's not going to blame the players for these two games. Okay, and then finally to wrap up for today, let us take a friend of the house, someone that our audience has also grown to love. I'm talking about Olu of the Nigeria Football Weekly podcast. Olu, welcome.
Welcome, guys. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be on, as usual.
Welcome.
Long time. First of all, AyoT, fantastic to see you, mate. Like, it's been a minute, so
Thank you.
it's good to see your face.
So yes, Olu, we're just talking about this whole Super Eagles brouhaha, you know. But yes, specifically AFCON qualifying just ended. We've qualified, but we lost our final match against Rwanda after drawing the one before that against Benin Republic. Your thoughts on the games, your thoughts on the team, and just how you're feeling looking forward to the future.
I mean, to be honest, I've heard quite a lot of the statements, and I agree 100% with what Humble Henry said as well. To be honest, like I'm not ever going to shalaye too much or talk too much. To be honest, I just feel a bit of like apathy. Like there's only so much lamenting you can do, and getting upset all the time and getting. I already ranted on my podcast, so I feel like at this point, it's acceptance that has now come. But it's just disappointing, guys. Like, what else can we say? Like, I mean, we go through this cycle year after year after year after year after year. Like, we can literally go back to the last 6 years, and we go through these same phases. I always joke that I said something like Nigeria is like Peter Pan. It's like we steal from the rich because when Nigeria plays big teams in Africa, that's when we now raise our shoulder, see me, and then we give to the poor because when we're playing small teams as well, all of a sudden we've decided that we'll scrap against every opponent. If you go and check Nigeria's performances outside of AFCONs, apart from our Sao Tome 10-0 and 6-0, and this Benin 3-0 in September, that was even by the grace of God. When last can we say we watched Nigeria just play a comfortable victory in qualification? Like they just dispatch the opponents. Like they know they are better. They have a tactical plan and they've just prosecuted it and they just won the game 2-0, 3-1. No problem, no panicking, no last minutes in the last 10 minutes Fisare Dele Bashiru go. I think we my main thing I wanted to say here because of everything we've said, let's all just temper our expectations. That's what the Super Eagles have taught me from this past international window. Where one thing Nigeria shows is there's no point in believing in continuity. Yes, you go to the AFCON final, pick that high. Look at how good our defense was at AFCON. Now we can't even defend basic set pieces. Like, I'll be honest with you, when you watch football, all of us as fans, we can only judge based on the output. We don't see the inputs. We don't see the training sessions that Eguavon was doing, or when he's having like video sessions with them to talk about marking their opponents. So here's how you set up out of the ball in possession and out of possession. Here's how this team tends to defend their set pieces. Because, bro, when you look at the goals you consider these last 10 days, there is no way this team practices set pieces. That's why I agree with Obueri for saying that Guavo is lazy. You cannot convince me they practice any of that, bro. Like, even that first goal Rwanda scored, everybody was static. Nobody moved. Against Benin are taking a corner. They take the short kick. Even in Didi, that knows that if he tries that in Leicester, the manager will slap him. He just goes there and does like some half-hearted raising of his leg to try and like block the cross. Everyone's just static in defense. And basically, we're just seeing so many poor patterns. Let me speed it up. We're seeing so many poor patterns and a lot of things that show us that the team is not being prepared adequately. I'm tired of people always blaming the players. When you put these players in the right position to shine, we've seen what they can do. Look at AFCON. Yes, we're still a team that has to rely on a few stars. If Osimhen and Lookman are not playing, you are finished. And we saw that again on Monday because without Osimhen, my God, we are absolutely crap. It's so funny to watch. But all of this, in my opinion, is on the NFF and coaching. There is no evidence of good coaching from this team. When you have individual quality, you have to give them tactics that allow them to express themselves. It is Africa. We know that in international football, you don't have that much time to prepare. But, bro, Morocco is not by accident. And if anybody wants to, sorry, you know me, I like smoke. It's so easy for somebody to say, that's your problem. I'm not being paid to coach the Super Eagles. I'm not being paid to be a technical director of Super Eagles. This mediocrity problem Nigerians like of giving an excuse for rubbish needs to stop. The currency will go down by 100. You still give excuse. The economy will tank. You still give excuse. People, your mates are used to 24 hours lights. You get light for 2 hours. You shout up NEPA. It's not good enough for Super Eagles. I'm sorry. I won't be surprised if Nike will soon tell us that, well, if people are not serious, let's go and find Morocco in Africa. So my point is we need to see better coaching processes and better administration because this is a consequence of bad behavior. There's no transparency on selections. Iheanacho is not playing well in his club side, yet he starts as right winger for 2 consecutive games. That cannot be excused. And this is being done by someone that's the technical director for the past 3, 4, 5 years. So what's the evidence of good performance from him if he cannot have a plan B ever? We've never seen a rival with a plan B in our lives. Think about these 6 games we've played. We had September, October, November. It's not often you get to have international breaks 3 times in such quick succession. And you could not put together a plan. We played 6 games, you won 2. And one of them, thank God for Fissaradili Bashiru's last minute goal. If they did not dash us 3 points, I'm sure you've already spoken about it. But the whole point is you cannot cheat the process. You cannot keep putting plasters on issues that need stitches.
Sorry, Olu. One person gave a comment here. I just want to address it to say that do Messi and Ronaldo always follow coach instruction? It's Anita. I want to you can just address it, please. You say that he was trying to say that it might not be all about the Guavon that some players need to improvise too. Do you agree with what you say?
Look, in any situation in football, there's different stakeholders. It's never all the blame on one person only. But everybody has an extent of the blame. But we all watch football. All of you guys that write these things in the comments, you have club sides you follow. You know how much onus you put on the coaches. Even you guys can name England's starting squad from the last game they played. You tell me Howard Bailey scored a goal. Guess what? It still goes back to coaching because that is what separates the good teams from the great teams. Yes, the players, you can argue that there wasn't much to play for, but I'm sorry. We see the best teams on the continent and in the world time and time again dispatch lesser nations because they have a tactical plan and they have a style of play that they trust and they have a settled side that they can trust on that no matter what, these players are going to prosecute a game plan for us. Nigeria, we keep failing to prepare, and what happens? We prepare to fail. Administration, what does the administration do? I don't know if sometimes maybe because of the privilege of living in certain locales, we have you get to understand what administration should at least look like. At least look like you're trying small. You cannot look at Morocco and look at their facilities and look at their training grounds and look at the way they set up and prepare their teams. Even the little things like having names on the back, they always have it. Look at the pitch they're playing on. There's no excuse. There is no, I'm sure Moroccans, they're not complaining about bonus. The players are giving 100% everything they need to focus on the game. Look at that pitch that they played in Uyo. We keep saying Uyo is the best place for Den of Nigeria. I'm sorry, that pitch is atrocious. My boarding school in A-levels in England, their pitch is better than that pitch in Uyo. So let's stop this rubbish here. All I'm just trying to say is Nigeria, it is well. NFF and coaches, we'll see what happens. And the one positive I'll say is we qualify for AFCON. And the one thing I trust Nigeria, once you get to the tournament, we'll at least shalaye. But of course, the problem now is we have to get to the World Cup to be in a tournament. And World Cup qualifying is not looking good. Benin, Rwanda, Lesotho are the teams we've struggled against, South Africa, not another giant. So all I want to just say, guys, thankfully, we don't have to watch Super Eagles for 4 months. Go back to your club sides. And I heard AyoT trying to shade. I know playing Arsenal, so hopefully it is all right. But temper your expectations, my people, and God bless. Look, we love Super Eagles. It will get better, but temper your expectations. Assume we're not going to America. If we go, it is a blessing. But let's just assume we're not going to be there. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much, Olu. Always nice to hear your thoughts. Love your passion as always, Olu said, thankfully, we don't have to watch Super Eagles for 4 months. Some people are Man U fans, though, so having to watch their club non-stop for 4 months.
The thing we all need as football fans is hope. Even Man United fans, at least Amorim has brought hope. We've watched Nigeria these last 6. My hope has left me. That's why I said temper expectations. The hope has gone.
but yeah, nice one for sure.
So let me
So
ask you something. Yeah, I think despite that Super Eagles not playing, the NFF will engage us with like rumor of coaches. So don't worry.
so there'll still be news. There'll still
It'll
be
still be
news.
news. Yeah.
But yeah, thank you very much, Olu. Nice to hear
Thanks
from
for
you.
having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
Okay, guys, there you have it. That is Olu from Nigeria Football Weekly podcast. Check out the podcast on whatever social media platform that you
Yeah, Apple
consume your
Podcasts.
content.
I
Apple
always get I
Podcasts,
always get notifications on Apple Podcasts.
YouTube. Follow them on their socials. Olu is a passionate Nigerian football fan, passionate and knowledgeable as well, not just passionate.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, there we have it, guys. That is the end of today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Even half as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Always a pleasure talking Nigerian football with you guys, with Smith Layi, with the rest of you. If you are on Instagram today, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Future episodes will only be streaming on YouTube. We're on Instagram today just to let you guys know that we are back because we were away for a bit. We don't have any time to take any more callers, so we're going to wrap it up for today. But please, if there's any questions you guys have for us, if there's any topics you want us to discuss more, if there's any kind of content you want to see from us more, engage with us in the comments, please. We want to hear from you guys more and more. I feel like when we do the live shows, you guys are so engaging. It's always so nice. And
Mhm.
then for the rest of the week, it's as if you guys just forget about us. Nobody's asking questions, nobody's sending anything. And then the next Tuesday comes and then boom, engagement is high again. But if you guys can stay engaged through the whole week, that would be much better. We don't want to just be bringing you guys content. We want you guys to help us to direct the content. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you want to hear. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know what you want to debate. Um, if you want to become more of a regular on the program, you can send a DM and we can discuss that as well. But yes, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Um, as always, please like, share, subscribe to your group chats, um, family, friends, wherever you discuss football. And if you want to support the channel financially, you can leave a super chat on YouTube. You can also shop Nigerian football merchandise on eaglestrackershop.com. It's been a pleasure. Smith Lai, final word from you today.
Nice to be back. Back and better. Nice to be back. And unfortunately, we are back with a super good loss. I know that it's going to get better. So, guys, just keep listening to us, and really miss you. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. Until next week, this is the Niger FC podcast. My name is AyoT, and my co host is.
Smith Layi.